Hey everyone! So it's about that time again where I'm doing another review. It's also about that time where it's finally getting cold in Toronto and everyone's gone to panic mode and is buying and bundling up in warm clothing. So luckily enough, I recently purchased a new pair of boots through the store that I work at, and also luckily enough, I finally got a pair of real winter boots, because usually I go through the winters, at least the last few winters I've been going through just wearing leather boots, and usually that's what I prefer wearing. A lot of winter boots out there, real winter boots, I'm not talking like the suede Uggs, because those are not real winter boots. I'm talking like Sorels, like a heavy duty waterproof boot. And no, not Hunters, I'm talking about like heavy duty winter boots. I don't own a pair. Usually I go through the winter in just leather boots. I have a pair of awesome mucklucks that have been keeping me really warm, but also aren't waterproof. And unfortunately, if you live in Toronto or any city, when it does snow a ton, that snow usually doesn't stick around very long on the streets and it turns to slush. So there's a ton of puddles out everywhere, and it's just not great for leather boots if you're walking through salts, because it does create a lot of salt stains, which does happen to Ugg boots and completely destroys most boots. So I finally decided to buy a real pair of winter boots. I didn't look into purchasing a pair of Sorels, mostly because their classic boot is quite heavy, and for me, well, first my problem is that my toes get really cold. I overall, just in general, get freezing cold. I love the winter and I love the cold. I just hate being cold, which is really funny and very ironic. But I usually, from as of a month ago, wear two pairs of socks on from now until like March, because my feet get so cold and I just can't do it. I can't stand outside for an hour waiting for either a streetcar or traveling through the city. I just can't do it without a warm pair of boots or with my feet being cold. It's terrible. There have been numerous times where I've literally had to get into a taxi just to get home faster because I've been so cold. So two pairs of socks, warm pair of boots, and I finally decided to, again, purchase a real pair of winter boots. So I decided on getting Blundstones, which are something new that we're carrying at our store. And when the rep came in to talk to us, he convinced me pretty quick that they're pretty durable boots. I've seen a ton of people wearing them. They're unisex. They're a unisex pair of boots, so that's also really awesome. The sizing is really weird because it's like, I'm usually about a 9 to a 10 depending on the shoe, and these I'm a size 7, so I think it's 2 sizes down. I think that's what they explained to us. As far as for the footwear guys that sell these boots, I believe it is 2 sizes down from your actual size. But if you are between sizes, you're just gonna have to grab both sizes and try them on. So that's what I did. Ended up deciding with a size 7, mostly because, again, I do wear 2 pairs of socks, but with these boots, I didn't buy the regular boots. I bought the more winter boot, which are these guys. They have the blue label, which means they're waterproof, which is seriously needed in Toronto. Again, like I mentioned, the slush puddles. And these ones also have, I think it's a sheepskin lining on the inside, but it's got a fuzzy lining on the inside. These are insulated with Thinsulate, which is awesome for me. And so far I have been wearing them over the last 2 weeks since it's actually gotten really cold, and I can't complain. I really cannot complain. I was very wary about these boots actually keeping me warm because of how cold my feet do get. But so far these boots have kept my feet so warm that I actually considered going out with 1 pair of sock, which sounds really ridiculous, but for me, getting cold really easily is not pleasant, and risking being cold all long day is also not a pleasant idea for me. So with these boots actually working for me, I would highly recommend them. They're great leather boots. I bought these ones in, I believe it's the rustic brown color. They're waterproof. They're, like I mentioned, they're insulated with Thinsulate, which is a synthetic that pretty much works kind of like down, but it's a synthetic and it's going to wick moisture away, which I've mentioned in the Arc'teryx where they use Coraloft. These guys are using thin slate, so it retains heat, but it wicks away moisture a lot quicker than down, and you can use a lot less of it to insulate, so it's not going to be a bulky boot. These ones I've realized compared to some of the regular boots, they do have a thicker sole. It's quite thick. And I do have to say the first day I felt like a baby giraffe, a little clumsy because they are quite a wide boot. They are a little bit wider in the front and I was getting used to walking around in them. But I do have to say they're quite comfortable. I walked around the first day that I wore these. I actually forgot to put my insoles in here, which support my very weak ankles. And usually I have to wear those because I can't survive without them, because if I don't wear my insoles, my back is killing me and my knees and my joints start falling apart. But with these ones, I actually went a day. Every day that I've worn these, I don't wear my insoles and I had zero pain. So I don't know if that's just me. I don't know if it's going to work for everybody, but you can definitely fit your insoles because it's basically just a stretchy band and you just pull them on, so I'm sure you can fit pretty much any insole in here. But yeah, like I mentioned, I've gone every day that I've worn these boots, which is, I've worn them in total amount of time, I've probably worn them for about a week. So these have done me well so far. They're really, really, really warm. I've worn them to work a few times, which have kept my feet toasty, not gonna lie. Any complaints? Honestly, no. They are quite bulky, and for most winter boots out there, like if you're looking for a waterproof winter boot that's insulated, this is probably some of the, part of that group of some of the slimmest boots out there. Sorels generally aren't a very slim boot. That's what I really don't like about them. They're quite heavy as well, and if I'm walking around all long day from downtown Toronto down to Etobicoke, which is a really long distance, and traveling on public transportation all long day and walking around all long day, I cannot afford to have a very heavy boot, which is my big problem with Sorels. I've never actually owned a pair of Sorels, so I can't 100% say that I wouldn't like them, but just from the weight alone, I can't do it. I can't imagine being able to walk around in those boots all long day. And they're not meant for that either. They're meant to be just go out in the snow and play, which is not what I'm doing. So for these boots, being as chunky as they may seem, they're not that bad. They're not super, super heavy, which I'm really, really like. And they've been very comfortable, and so far they've been really easy to maintain. They have mentioned that you should clean them regularly, and it mentions in the little tags that came with the boot that you should clean them regularly. Of course, you want to avoid salt stains. Salt wrecks just about any kind of a boot, so you want to clean them regularly. Once I get them out in the snow and the salt. But basically, yeah, I really like these boots so far, and I'm sure I'll like them through the winter time. Obviously, they're not a really tall boot, so once we get a few feet of snow, which, I mean, we rarely ever do get, but hopefully, fingers crossed, this winter we'll get more snow. Obviously, they won't be covering so much of, they won't be keeping so much of my leg out of the snow, but honestly, I don't really care. I'm not hiking. If I'm going to be hiking through the snow, it'll be maybe all of like 15 minutes just to get to work from the bus down to the front of the store, so I'm not too concerned about that. And even if I'm going to be going out playing in the snow, I'll probably be wearing a pair of jeans that'll go over the top of the boot anyway, so it's not something I'm concerned about. And I've even realized anytime I've worn a pair of socks, the socks usually come out longer than the boot, so I'm not concerned about coverage. But maybe for an active mom or just any active girl or any active guy that's walking around in these all long day, these have been a great boot, and so far have given me the coverage I need, and I know they'll give me the coverage that I need from now until whenever the snow decides to come and melt away. So if you guys are looking for a great pair of pretty much heavy-duty, reliable pair of boots, I would definitely recommend these Blundstones. Everybody loves them, even just the original boots that aren't insulated or aren't waterproof. Everybody loves them at work that has gotten them. They are pretty sleek. I mean, obviously they're not the most, like, I won't be going out in these on a Friday night. They're not my heels, but that's not what they're built for. But knowing just that they are a waterproof boot, and so far I've kept my feet extremely warm, is all that matters to me. So if you guys are in the market for buying a reliable winter boot, I would highly recommend looking into Blundstones. They're very comfortable, waterproof, which is my biggest deal, and again, they're super warm, they're winter boot at least. So I'd take a look at these, and they're fairly reasonably priced compared to some of the boots out there. I got them for a really good price, but besides that, no complaints, and I'd highly recommend them. So I will be doing some more reviews upcoming, probably specifically just even talking about waterproofing, because I did talk about it and I touched on it in the Arc'teryx review, what actually makes something waterproof. I'll probably make that a whole video in and of itself, and there will be more reviews coming about with my goose coats. I'll probably do those soon enough, and any other things. I think I might do some on base layers because I've got some base layers, and yeah, that's about it. So guys, if you get a pair of Blundstones, I'd like to hear what you think. So do a review video, a response video, and link it back to this video. And I'd love to hear what you guys think about your Blundstones. Anyways, have a good day, guys.